Hey, and welcome back to our Tuesday night live broadcast. We are in a brand new year, and tonight, oh my goodness, you picked such a good night to tune in. If you are somebody who has wanted to lose weight, if you have been on a weight loss journey, if you have struggled to lose weight, if you have watched other people lose weight and thought about it, then tonight you are going to be inspired like crazy. If you've watched any of our episodes of The Biggest Transformation, we just wrapped season 3. And tonight we have the won it all, kicked butt, took names, Mrs. Dana Geyer with us. And so before we bring her on, if you are new here and you have not hit that subscribe button, make sure to do that. Ring the notification bell. We have all kinds of things coming up in the new year, new coaching programs, a new video series where we take a man from a keg to a six pack, and we're going to outline that. We have season 4 of The Biggest Transformation, carb cycling groups, lots going on, new recipes. You're not going to want to miss them. So make sure you are subscribed, ring the notification bell. And when I bring Dana on, make sure to give her some love. So make sure to smash that subscribe button. So without further ado, let me bring the woman of the hour, the person you're really going to want to be here to see. Dana. Hi.
Hey. Oh, goodness.
Welcome. You're here.
I am, like, all in one piece.
I know, right? And so, Dana, you were a cast member on The Biggest Transformation season 3, and you won the entire 12 weeks of the first phase. You were the biggest loser. Like, you lost the biggest percentage of your body. I actually have your numbers here. So when you applied, you started at 234.2.
Yes.
And in 12 weeks, you lost 40. I look at these numbers and I'm like, this is crazy. You lost 46.8 pounds, which was 19.98% of your body. That was almost 20% that was like 1/5 of you.
It's probably like a leg or something. It's gotta be something more than an arm.
Right? Like a
Crazy.
leg, like a torso.
A little chunk there.
So, okay, how does it, like, when I say that and I'm talking about you, how does that feel?
I literally kind of go like, who are you talking about? Oh, that's me. It's literally mind-blowing to me that even when I look back at my pictures or like have conversations with people and I'll whip out my phone and show them, and I'm just like, that's me. Like, I still am struggling with the, like, who am I in the mirror? Yeah. And there is such a mind component to weight loss. I'm like, my mind is still catching up to where I'm at, but then also like looking forward to where I want to go. And I'm like, I'm struggling with that, but I just blows my mind when I look in the mirror. Or like when I was home with family for the holidays. My favorite part was when my mom did some of my laundry. She's like, that's yours. I'm like, that's mine. And I get kind of excited about it. Like, yes, that is mine. Those size 14 shorts are mine. I think I found a pair of jeans, actually. They were 15, 16s from, like, I don't know, probably high school. And then I found some other clothes that I was like, I was wearing that size. Are you kidding? Like, don't even remember that. And I'm like, it blew my mind. The 15, 16s are actually a little too big on me, which was exciting.
Isn't it fun to undergrow your clothes?
It is, but the problem is now I'm getting to the point, like, I only got so many things that fit me, which is a good thing because we don't want to go backwards, because I've had some struggles, but we don't want to go backwards because we are not going shopping. We're not going to get clothes that we've donated to Goodwill and get those back. Nope, those are going to stay right there. But now I'm like, okay, I only got so many things that fit me, so I have to stay in them and then keep going down. I mean, I have bikinis that are my goals. I could fit in those.
Totally. That's the fun part, right? It's kind of like when you know you're going to a goal, it's kind of fun to almost be down. I can remember losing weight and clearing out clothes, and it was down to like a couple shirts, a couple pair of pants, and I was like, I just got to do extra laundry because, like, literally you're doing a high buy. Like, those size 14s, you're not camping out there. It's like, hey, 14. Yep. And in a couple of weeks, it's going to be like, buy 14. And So I want to go back for a moment. We're obviously going to get more into these insane results you've had, but I want to go back for a second because 12, if we rewind 3 months ago, you hearing there was going to be a season 3, you seen the video, seeing the application, like where was life then? Like where were you at? Like where was life prior, 46.8 pounds back ago?
It's interesting because whatever we tell ourselves, we're willing to believe, right? So I believed I was happy. I believed I was content with what I was. I thought I was healthy. So looking back, I literally am like, yeah, I wasn't. I wasn't. And I thought I was, but I wasn't. And I remember, so Wendy, who was one of our castmates, amazing gal, I have been friends with her for a couple of years. And when I saw her in July at an event we were both at up in Orlando, I remember her telling me about season 3, and I wasn't planning to apply. I really wasn't. I remembered I really wanted to apply for season 2, and I totally chickened out. So one morning, Wendy and I got talking, and she's like, yeah, I applied. And I'm like, good for you, girl. Go for it. I wasn't even thinking about me. And then she was like, you should do it. Well, my personality was like, well, don't challenge me because like I'll be like game on. And I just kind of like marinated in it for like probably a day. And the next morning I was like, hey, I went up and found her. I was like, hey, can you send me that link you were telling me about? And I was like, and even when she sent me the link, it still took me like another 24 hours to actually like click the button because I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can do this. And I was still telling myself that story of like, oh, I'm good. I don't need to lose more weight. I don't need another diet program because I believed some story that I told myself.
Isn't that crazy? Like literally we can convince ourselves that we're okay with the extra fluff. And part of it's because we get there slowly over time. So we don't realize all the stress and anxiety and worry and extra things we have to think about that comes with being overweight. We get there gradually and then we almost kind of accept it, right? Because it's easier than trying and failing, which we've all done a million times. And so you filled up. So Wendy, so you were cheering Wendy on. You were like, get it, girl.
Yeah,
and then
I was like, I'll be your biggest cheerleader.
So then you got challenged. You decided to apply. Was there any moment between the application and the you getting accepted where you were like, can I take it back?
Yep. I was driving home from that event in Orlando and I was listening to one of the video links that you had sent us about the application process. I'm not joking. I literally was like, oh, I don't know about that. I just don't know about that. Because I was like, I'm going home. No, she's not. It's gonna just be okay. Like she'll just like, I'll just say like, oh, I passed the deadline or something. Because I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. That like when you were like, oh, it's my way or the highway. You're like all in. There's no excuses, and I'm like, I just keep going on down home to South Florida. Like I'll just leave that idea up in Orlando.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things because obviously the biggest transformation, there's several boot camps that we run, but the biggest transformation is the most involved. And so I never want anybody to get into it and not know what it is. Like everybody needs to know.
It's intense.
100%. And we're going to get to that in a moment. But like, it's just, it is intense and it's accountability to the extreme, but it's also results to the extreme. And so, what she's talking about, if you've never watched any of the episodes, when they apply, they get a video of me telling them, like, I'm going to hold your butt to the fire. Yep. There's going to be moments you probably want to punch me. There's going to be times you don't like me. It is my way or the highway. End of story. I'm about your results.
And I checked off all of those. we're still talking, so we're good. So not only are you promising it will happen, I can testify it will, and we're still conversing, so we're good.
Right. And those as a coach, those are the parts that aren't easy, right? Is having to actually, it's like as a parent, you want the best for your kid, but sometimes you have to be the tough mom to do that. Yes. And so she watched that video and then she was like, I don't know about this, but you ended up getting in. And Dana, I got to be honest with you. You had told me a little bit about, you almost seemed so nonchalant about applying. And so when the season started, the very first week, Dana jumped out in first place. And as I was doing the numbers, I was like, I had no idea who was going to take the lead, But I remember going, wait, what?
Yeah.
Dana was so nonchalant. This girl came to play.
Yeah.
And you spent 90% of the season in the lead. Like, did you plan that? Was that kind of like a shock to you?
It wasn't a plan, but I will tell you my personality that when I showed up in first after week 1, I was like, well, I didn't come to lose then. If I'm going to be in first, I'm going to stay in first. So that literally, it pushed me and it drove me. And I have to tell you, and shout out to my amazing mentor, Laura from season 2. She, when I popped out in first place, she was like, girl, you're going to win it. You're going to do it. Like, and she just kept like encouraging me in my love language, in my language of like, you got this, keep going. And trust me, there were moments like you were talking about, like wanting to like throat punch people. I was like, I'm done. I'm quitting. And she's like, no, you're not. And she would just lovingly tell me, she's like, no, you're going to keep doing because you're going to win. And I'm like, yes, I am. So she would kind of help refocus me on those moments that were just hard for me. And I did. I didn't plan to win. But once I jumped out in first, I was like, well, y'all take a back seat because I'm just going to take it home. But I wasn't. I think I can testify and say, but that's not who I was. Like, I never said that in our group because I want everyone to win. I'm kind of a quiet confidence person. Like, I don't. And that's what's funny. My personality, a lot of people think my personalities, we're the vocal type. Well, I'm vocal, but I'm not like an in your face because I've had people like that in my life. And it's such a turnoff. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit over here and do my thing and stay in my own lane. But y'all stay out of the way because I'm coming.
Well, and then about 2/3 of the way, Krista Joy started tightening the race. And
Yeah.
she took first place a couple weeks. And I can remember you having a conversation with me and you're like, I do not like this. Like, I like leading. Like, this is game on. And you got into like, for the first time, I almost saw this like tiger come out of you. And you were like,
it really was super duper uncomfortable for me. Like, almost like confrontation can be uncomfortable for people. That's how it felt for me. And I was like, oh no, this is not going to work for me. Like, it was very like, and I remember having conversations with Laura. I'm like, Laura, how can I how can I get my spot back? And she was just like, and I'm not going to joke. I'm not even going to fib. The last 2 weeks, because it was such a tight race, I went back and watched every single episode just to get all the weights. I made me a spreadsheet because I'm not a spreadsheet person, but I made me a spreadsheet. And I literally did the math the past 2 weeks of like, what do I have to lose to have more percentage? And I actually had it figured out for Krista Joy, myself, Steve, and Bryce. And I literally made a list and I was like, okay, well, if they lose 2 pounds, this is their percentage. If I lose this, and I had it figured out for the last 2 weeks because I was like, I'm going to win.
that is amazing. Like, to, you know, and but it's the same thing. Success follows a plan. Most people never plan to fail. They fail to plan. And so I love that you were able to harness that, pick a goal, and then go after it. I think that's amazing. So let's go back to that shocking weight loss of 46.8 pounds.
Yeah.
So how do you feel? How has it changed life? Losing 20% of you, like 46.8 pounds in 12 freaking weeks.
Mm-hmm.
How has that changed life? How did those first 3 months and those first 46 pounds, how has that changed your life, your day to day? You clean houses. You know, you had a cleaning business. Like, how does that affect life?
On so many levels. I literally feel like I've been changed from the inside out. It's I mean, we can talk about the basics of like, oh, it's giving more and more energy. Obviously, I'm lower sizes, but it's really amped up or revved up my confidence. Because, okay, this is kind of a funny story. I have a tattoo on the top of my right foot that says believe, and it's an infinity symbol and a heart. It means 3 different things, but the word believe, I had tattooed into me, I don't know, probably 6-8 years ago. And it's all because I was terrified out of my mind to jump off of a 25-foot waterfall. And I was on a camping canyoneering trip with my class out in Arizona. I was the last person to do it, but I was the first person to be like, I got this. But my fear just overtook me. Mm-hmm. And it took me probably 10 minutes to finally jump off that waterfall. And I remember saying to my class and the instructors who were like, you can do this, it's okay. Because there was no way. There was like, you jump or you're going to have to go all the way back. And that we were past that point already. Because I passed the point where you could have turned around to walk. And I realized when I popped up out of that water, I was like, if you believe you can do anything and you're willing to work hard at it, you can do it. I feel like, as weird as it sounds to say, that was the moment that was like, okay, I'm going to put the word believe on my body now. I tattooed that in my foot. I feel like this journey is actually what reinforced that, because whether it's weight loss, whether it's overcoming a fear of jumping off a waterfall or whatever, if you truly believe you can, you have faith in yourself, surround yourself with people who also have that faith in yourself, and you do the work, it'll happen. I remember at the very beginning of this journey, you said to us something to the effect of, if you don't have the belief in yourselves, I have enough for you. You can borrow it. And I honestly didn't know like really what that meant until there were moments where I was just like, I just can't do this anymore. Like, I just can't. And I mean, I've had some bumps with the holidays. And even just the other night, I had a conversation with a very close friend of mine. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is too freaking hard, because it's still hard. Even when you have success, there's still struggle. So now I'm like, again, I go back, I look at my foot, I see that little tattoo and I go, okay, but if I do the work, if I actually follow the directions and I apply what I know, I can have success, because I just have proof that I've done it. I can keep going. I can get to my next goal. Doesn't mean it's not going to have rocks in the path, but I can get there.
Well, and this level of accountability almost forces you. There's no wiggle room. There's nowhere to hide. So it forces you to confront the excuses that we would normally say, well, this happened, or it's Christmas, or it's New Year's. Like in this kind of program, like it really, your excuses don't get a place at the table.
and the thing is if you try to hide or you have an excuse, you so lovingly come into our little group and you're like, hey, you didn't post your sheet, or hey, your checking is missing this, if you try to just put it in words. Because I know, like, I've done that in the past. I know other people have done it, because you so call us out. So yeah, there's no place to hide. And it's like what, you gonna lie about how many cheats you haven't had?
Yeah.
Guess what? This scale's still gonna show you if you've had a cheat. So it's an intense program, but the accountability is so worth it. Every penny, so worth it.
Well, and it's the results you're going to get on the other side, right? It's like when you go through the fire, you come out stronger. And not walking through the fire, steel doesn't get stronger until it's forged in the heat, in the fire, in the friction. And so although it might be comfortable to stay right where we're at and not make any changes and not confront what keeps us stuck, like change doesn't happen to our bodies until we make changes. And so I love that you, even though you've had some bumps and obviously you've had some family stuff and extra travel and a new job and lots of stuff, like you had a lot of life changes. You've had moments where you've said, tempted to give in, but it's you haven't. You've continued to fight for yourself, for your goals, for your health through all of that. And so I want to ask you, where, like you talked about in future milestones, what is your ultimate goal? Like, where do you want 1 year from today? We have you back on here. Where is 1 year away from today, Dana? Where are you at?
Well, I'll probably still be living in South Florida, because I do love me the beach. But I would like to be on that beach in a smaller bikini. I mean, it might be the small little goals that really keep me going. You mentioned family, travel and some family things. I've been out of state and traveling I was in Michigan for like a month, unplanned, with like one sweatshirt. I had to go shopping. It was so nice to come home, because I actually have my gold bikini hung up on in my room and on the wall, like on little pins. And it's so encouraging to see that now in my face every day, because I'm like, that's the goal. I want to get into that bikini. I think it's a size 4. It's about a 4, maybe a 6, but it's, like I want to be in that bikini. So where am I in a year? I'm here in South Florida. I'm out on the beach and I'm in that bikini. That is like the big goal. Yeah, I can put a number on it and say like, oh, I want to be like, 130 pounds or whatever. But I know I'll get the number defined as I get closer to my
Yep.
goal.
Yep.
But a lot of it is how I feel. It's that confidence, but absolutely way more less weight than what I have right now, even still.
So awesome. Couple more questions I have for you because there's people watching that have tried things before. They've tried weight loss. They've been weight loss failures, like you and I have been in the past.
Yeah.
And you hear about stuff like this, right? And you and I had heard about stuff. It's like you heard about season 2, but so many times we're just like, nope, that's not for me. Nope, that's not for me. That's too hard. That's too easy. That won't work. That was great for them, but not for me. What was different about this time? I mean, because 46.8 pounds in 12 weeks, like Dana, that's incredible. Like that's freaking, and you weren't starving yourself, you were eating and all that. So you weren't spending all day in the gym. So what was different for you about this time versus all the other times?
I'm super grateful that at the beginning of the journey, when I did decide to apply and follow through with it and not like, peace out, I'll just miss that deadline. And I remember saying this, I believe it was in one of my videos I had to send to you, was like, this is my time. Like, this is my opportunity to change my life. So like, let's just do it. Everyone else get out of my way and let's go. So for me, it was a little bit of mindset. And I think that could, because I've probably worked on myself a lot over the past like 4 or 5 years. So I was like just ready for a change. But the biggest thing I would say is you helped draw out a vision at the very beginning of our journey, helping us figure out like what do we want to look like? What do we want to do? And the one exercise you had us do where we went and like Googled, searched like, celebrities that are kind of like the size we want to be or our height and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That vision literally, like, girl, I'm still working on me some Carrie Underwood legs. I want them.
Amen.
I'm just saying, like, I want me some Carrie Underwood legs. So I know I have this vision inside of me. It's more than just, oh, there's a bikini on my wall. That's my goal to get into. It's bigger than that. And knowing like visually what I want, because I'm a little bit of a visual person, that really keeps me going. And it's the one thing I'm learning is to give grace to myself. I know that's not really part of your program, but I'm learning to be gracious to myself when I fall flat on my face and eat me some peanut M&Ms or whatever, because I can't beat myself up by failing or being a disappointment. I have to be able to forgive myself, which is something you also took us through, and say, okay, I forgive myself. Now let's move on, because I'm not going to reach my goal or that vision that I have for myself if I'm going to sit over here in the corner and beat the crap out of myself because I'm disappointed or I failed and like, woe is me. That's not going to get me to my goals. So it's kind of a combination of things. The biggest thing I would say to anybody, honestly, who's just like, why should I do this? Why should I even consider trying again? Because you're worth it. And one of the things that this season taught me was excuses keep me stuck. So now it's time to not only know I'm worth it, but it's time for me to get over my excuses and put myself first.
And I love what you said in one of the seasons. You towards the end, you actually said, I expected to lose weight, but I didn't expect to get my life back. And there's people watching right now that have given up and given in. They have settled for where they're at. They look at their family line and they've bought the lie of I'm fluffy, I'm big boned, my people aren't small people, I could never do that. That wouldn't work for me. What would you say to somebody watching who's a skeptic of anything working for them? Because, when we get to that place of hopelessness, we become a skeptic of, yeah, that was great for them, but it wouldn't be for me. So what would you say to that person sitting here watching that longs to get to their goal, that has this desire inside of them to lose the weight, but they just haven't taken that leap of faith yet?
I'm sorry that I'm crying a little over here because this just happened yesterday. A client of mine who's kind of become more like a friend, they saw me for the first time since the end of the season, and they were like, oh my gosh, you've lost a person. And I'm like, yeah, thanks so much. Off I go to clean their office, and I get an email from them last night, and they're like, hey, I was telling my sister about you because she called me crying and she feels hopeless because she hasn't been able to lose the weight that she struggled with. She's recently had a baby, struggling to lose the weight. And my heart just broke. So this is literally what I said to this person. I said, please, here's my digits, have her call me, because there's nothing that's too hopeless and you can do it. You just need the right people to surround you and support you and push you forward. And Are we going to struggle? Yeah. Of course we're all going to struggle. We're life, we're humans. There's just going to be struggles. Like even right now I've been going through some bumpy paths. But there's nothing that's hopeless. And what you've taught me through this journey to literally feel like I've been given my life back, anybody can do this.
Yeah.
And when you have the right people supporting you, you can do this.
So awesome. And you could not be more correct. You've never messed up too much to hit your goals and your dreams. You're never too far gone.
Yeah.
You've never gotten too fluffy. There is nobody that can't come back from even decades of bad decisions, excuses, staying stuck from the worst family history line of anything. And so, Dana, I'm so freaking proud of you. You have been such a rock star. And, I'm proud of you and your successes, but I'm proud of you also for persisting through the bumps, through persisting through the moments, because we all have moments, right, where that thought comes in that says, this isn't worth it. I can't do this.
Yes.
And normally that's when we give up, we quit until something else shiny comes along and we're like, ooh, look at this diet, right? And then we just repeat the cycle.
Yep.
But you've broken so many of those cycles. You've broken the cycle of giving up and giving in, the cycle of quitting on yourself again.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no doubt that in 1 year, you are going to be sitting on that beach, standing on the beach, jumping in the water in that bikini, continuing to inspire people around you. So thank you for willing to be on here tonight, and make sure to give her a thumbs up. I mean, guys, this woman right here is inspiring people around the globe with her results. And so, Dana, thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching. And from Dana and I both, have a great night, and we'll see you next Tuesday live here on the channel. We are cooking Chipotle chicken. If you've ever been to Chipotle and you like their chicken, we're gonna be showing you how to make a home healthy version, quick, easy, fast, of Chipotle chicken. So we'll see you next Tuesday.